623, 11 December 2020. A lot of stuff happening today. This first bit's going to be from forwardobserver.com. Low intensity conflict in some. Leftists call for more arms at eviction defenses. Water. Analyzing the recent establishment of the Red Hill Autonomous Zone, or RAZ, in Portland, Oregon, far-left chat room contributors called for more leftists to arm themselves at eviction events. One commenter asked how different previous events would have been had more participants been armed with AR-15s. Another added that violence, quote, is what a struggle looks like, end quote. Observers note. In their call to arms, several of these leftists hailed Mao Zedong's land reforms during the late 1940s and early 50s. Mao pushed peasants to rebel against and ultimately execute landlords in massive numbers. Historians estimate hundreds of thousands were murdered during this one reform alone. Pandemic-related evictions combined with this type of rhetoric indicates that leftists could be moving towards more violent forms of activism and resistance in the future. Portland area officers report increased death threats and off-duty harassment. The City of Portland, Oregon conducted a survey of Portland Police Bureau officers who have identified specific threats or acts of harm and harassment. Officers reported being photographed and followed while departing the Portland Police Bureau property on their way home. One officer reported confronting individuals frequently driving by and inspecting fence lines at his home. Multiple officers reported being confronted while off duty by people threatening to murder them, rape family members, and burn down their homes, observers note. They've previously reported on a growing leftist doxing campaign targeting police officers in Portland and Seattle. The recently established Red Hill Autonomous Zone has a copious amount of propaganda calling for supporters to murder and carry out other acts of violence against police officers. We've not seen reports of political violence taking place against off-duty officers so far, but continued rhetoric clearly signals at least latent intent. Upcoming event calendar. 11 through 12 December, Defend DC, All Out DC, Washington, DC. And the rest are 12 December. All Out Against America, Goodnight Fascism, and Antifa, Olympia, Washington. 12 December, Run the Fascist Out, BLM, Atlanta, Georgia. 12 December, March for Trump, Washington, D.C. And this last bit. SCOTUS rejects Texas lawsuit contesting Biden's win in swing states. The state of Texas motion for leave to file a bill of complaint is denied for a lack of standing under Article 3 of the Constitution. Texas has not demonstrated a judicially cognizable interest in the manner in which another state conducts its elections. All other pending motions are dismissed as moot, the order reads. Only two justices, Samuel Alito and Clarence Thomas, said they would have allowed the case to be filed with the court on technical grounds, but emphasized they would grant no other relief. Quote, I would therefore grant the motion to file the bill of complaint, but would not grant other relief, and I express no view on any other issue, a statement from Alito read. Monday night, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton filed the bill of complaint, which was not seeking to overturn the election, but rather seeking a mandate that states comply with the Constitution. Plaintiff state, quote, plaintiff state does not ask this court to decide who won the election. They only ask that the court enjoin the clear violations of the Electors Clause of the Constitution, the state argued. It's the 11th. If nothing changes, the Electoral College will meet to vote on December 14, officially making Biden President-elect of the United States. When that happens, the minute that happens, on the 14th, I'll be at work. We'll see the end of my voting for any presidential election for the rest of my natural life, quite probably. Because there would be no point. Because this has shown that you have enough election rigging, fraud, just outright fraud. A couple of thousand affidavits, video proof, sworn testimony, already knowing that there's problems with the very system that's used for the election, knowing there were problems with the software, knowing that a senator's husband, and by default the senator, owns 60% stock in Dominion, a senator that would not vote for Trump. With all this, and this ruling, if nothing changes from now till the 14th, and we truly have a President-elect Biden, there's no point for me at least to vote anymore, because my vote will mean nothing. My vote will count for nothing. Every conservative, every Republican that voted, our votes literally count for nothing. I'm ready to see a separation of the several states. I'm ready for it. I want to see the United States of America that were enshrined in principles that are looked at, derided, laughed at by one half of the voting public. I want that America back where voting actually meant something, or at least was supposed to have meant something. I'm ready for that separation. It's already being talked about. And with this decision by SCOTUS, the people get no relief. The people get no relief. They turned a blind eye to fraud. If the Supreme Court of the United States turns a blind eye to fraud, aren't they abetting fraud? Aren't they ensuring that this continues in the future by not even examining it? You can't ask where's the Justice Department because they're eyeball deep in, playing for Biden. Everybody knows this. Or rather, they're eyeball deep in playing against the interest of the United States for the interest of the Democrats, and they are two very different interests indeed. This is going to be a turning point in the rest of the history of this country. What we've seen this summer, what we've seen this whole time Trump's been in office, but particularly this summer, was just potentially portents of things to come. I just feel bad for the children. Sick 2 3 out.